How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to City Skylines, and welcome back to the city of Nerdholm. In the last episode, we finally got around to building the Narrows, which is a relatively small district. It is obviously quite narrow, but it is European themed, it is high density, which means it's not too tall, and it has a population of just about 2,400 Sims, which is important because we were having some issues with our overall population in that last episode. And then we moved to the east just a little bit to get to work on Bedford, which is a considerably more modern district. It has wall-to-wall buildings and a mix of both commercial and residential zoning. It also has the Modern Art Museum right in the middle, which I think is a fantastic building for this space. And having the commercial in here also means that this can nicely help out and, I suppose, provide commercial zoning for everyone living down here, but it can also double as what I like to think of as a fan zone for the other thing that we worked on, which was, of course, the Nerdholm Chirpers Stadium. Now, we didn't build this entire thing in that last episode, of course. We did have a bit of a pause to build something else, but we finished it last time. We got some detailing in here, we got more trees in here, we got more plazas in here, and we did some custom stuff just to make it look that little bit better. And I'm so pleased with how this has turned out. Now, what's more is there's a little bit that I did do to this space between episodes, because the metro station that we put right in the middle of this, that sunken bypass metro station, is now functional. So people can use the metro to get to and from the stadium. Now, while we're talking about public transport, I want to take a second to talk about another thing that I did decide to do between episodes, because I decided it was about time that we come in here to Vermont District, we take a look at our bus station and also the compact bus stations, and we just redo all of the bus lines. So if we take a look here, I've rebuilt every single one. I deleted every single bus line, and I've named them now in a way that I think makes sense. So all of the 100 lines go via Vermont District. They go through this transit hub. So the 101 is the stadium line, the 102 is the campus line, and the 102 is this line right here. And you'll notice it does have a stop next to Nerdminster. It has a couple of stops here by Jones Park, but then it crosses over and it has a stop down here just below the entrance to the campus. It comes up and into the campus, and then it just goes back. And that's all I wanted it to do. And that's something I wanted to do with all of the 100 lines is, yes, they are going somewhere specifically, but they can also service the places that they're going through. So if you wanted to get, say, from the campus to Jones Park, you can hop on a 101 bus and it will get you there. If you want to go from Vermont District to the edge of Jones Park, you can hop on the 101 and it will get you there. But we also have the 200 bus lines, and these guys are just going around districts, or they're going between a handful of districts. So the 201 is the Stadium Narrows Castleview line, which we'll talk about in a second. Castleview it's been built, but we'll talk about why it wasn't done in a video in just a second. Basically, it goes between those districts. The 202 goes along the Cedar Promenade, so just at the top end of Cedar Hall, our city center. And then the 203A is a clockwise line around Lakeside, where the 203B is a counterclockwise line around Lakeside. So basically, the buses are doing pretty good. And we have a nice mix of different bus types in here. There's actually very few double-deckers. I think there's only maybe 2 lines that have double-deckers. One of them is, of course, the good old sort of old London style double-decker, and I think another one is a custom one. In fact, do I have 2 double-deckers? I'm not sure if I do. I actually don't. We only have the Cedar Promenade line with the double-decker buses. That makes me kind of sad, and I feel like I need more of them. I might swap out the Cedar Hall line for double-decker buses just because I feel like I should. So let's just very, very quickly go for the double-decker bus right there, and that'll be pretty good. That does mean we're going to have some buses that need to go back to the depot, but I'm not worried about that. It's going to look great. So let's talk about Castleview. This is a new suburb. It is a wealthy suburb. It is detailed. It has a pier. It has parks. It has shops. It has a medical center and an elementary school. It has some paths that go along the cliffs. It's a completed suburb district, and it wasn't built in the last video, and it wasn't built in this video. I don't think I needed to explain that part, but just to be clear, it wasn't. You haven't missed anything, you haven't skipped forward. It wasn't built today. This was built on a live stream over on twitch.tv/ConflictNerd. Now, this isn't some roundabout way for me to entice you over to Twitch to check out my live stream, although I would appreciate it if you did. We have a lot of fun over there. This was just something I wanted to do because I was having one of those mornings where I didn't feel super productive. I didn't feel like I could do a video, so I just booted up the stream, listened to some music, talked with the people in chat, and we built Castleview. The other reason I didn't record it is because we've built suburbs just like this 3 times already. We built Lakeside North in a video, we built Lakeside South in a video, and then last time we built the Narrows. So I really don't think we needed to do this for a 4th time as a part of an episode. I didn't want to begin today's episode by being like, hey, welcome back. We're going to build another suburb. Let's go. We're going to place all these houses by hand. It's going to be a great way to spend 2 hours. So I figured, some cinematics, taking a look at it. We've got that going. It's a good looking district. I'm really pleased with it as a district. It does exactly what I wanted it to do as a district, and it has a population of 755. So it's actually the least populated of all of the suburbs that I've built, which wasn't intentional, but there you go. That makes sense for a district that is a bit more wealthy. It's a lot of very wealthy houses and not as many very wealthy people. And so with all of that said and done, let's finally turn our attention to Willow Hills. Now this space still has a bunch of abandoned buildings, and if we go and click on one, it's abandoned because there were not enough workers. If we go and click on another one, it's abandoned because there were not enough workers. And just to really, send this point home, we'll click on another one and it's abandoned because there were not enough workers. Now, of course, we can see there's a bunch more buildings that are complaining about not having enough workers, and it will become abandoned if nothing's done about it. Zone more residential area to attract more workers. Now, we do have demand for residential zoning, and I have mentioned that I want to get back to just building some districts and not intricately detailing all of them, because honestly, Dale Hills turned out pretty good, Vermont District turned out pretty good, Campus Park, Mulberry, Highland, etc., etc. All of this was just built and allowed to build. We don't need to go to this extent, but we're not going to be doing that today, because I do want to ever so slightly intricately detail Willow Hills. I want to tear it apart, and I want to completely rebuild it. So that's kind of where we're going to get started today. We're using Move It. I'm tripping over my words. I started out doing really good with this video and talking at a reasonable pace, and I'm getting excited because I'm about to start building, and I'm starting to speak way too fast, and I'm tripping over my words. So we'll take a breather. We're good. Let's use Move It to select some buildings, to select some trees, and basically, I want to get rid of all of this. In fact, we'll start with just the trees, because there are some buildings in here that I want to keep. So all of the trees in this space can be deleted. We'll select some nodes. We'll select some fences and some paths. We'll go in and just delete all of those as well. So any fences, any paths are now all gone. In fact, I didn't even select the fences at all. So let's do that again. We've got some fences in there that are now deleted. And the next step, to be completely honest, is going in here, using the marquee tool, and just removing all of this zoning. All of these buildings need to go away. And while that's going on, I actually want to come out to this road right here. And I want to go into my roads tool. I want to get the 4-lane road, which is what this is. And I want to force zoning onto this road. Now, I'm not putting anything out here permanently, but there are some buildings in Willow Hills that we happen to need. So for example, the fire helicopter depot is going to be moved out here. Now, this is a bit weird. It's certainly not very realistic, but it's what we're going to be doing. We're going to move our oil power plant just out there as well. And we have another one that can go out there too. So we'll put it right about there. We have the good old bus depot, which can go to right about there. And what else have we got in here? We've got a police station. We've got a firehouse. We've got a crematorium. All of those, honestly, we can just delete since we can replace them at any point. And then I think the only things we're left with are the metro station, which I want to keep, although I might move a little bit. We've got some eco-inland water treatment plants as well, and the advanced versions. And then we have the waste transfer facility, which is 16% full, 24% full. And I just don't really know that I need this, but I can't bulldoze it because it's full. So what I'm going to do is use move it and just delete it because I can't get rid of it any other way. So that's fine. It's cheating, but it's whatever. Now, I think before we move the water treatment plants, what we're going to need to do is run some pipes just along this road. So we're going to run them out like this. And then what I want to do is line up some pipes with that avenue right there. And that seems pretty solid. What we can do then is run a pipe down the avenue and connect it to right about there, which is fine by me. So these guys now have water. They'll stop complaining about it. And what I can do is move all of my water treatment plants just out to here. And so that leaves us with an elevated metro station and the solar updraft tower. Now, the solar updraft tower, I want to keep it here. I feel like it's sort of a weird feature of this this coastline that we have, so it's going to stay there at least for the time being, at least for today. But this metro station, I've got to be honest, I'm really kind of tempted to get rid of it and then bring a metro back in here. Now, I was thinking originally I was just going to keep it because it just seems like something that should be kept in here, maybe renovated, we keep the line, but I'm just going to... I mean, look, we've already moved these buildings out of here. Any sense of me trying to be realistic about anything doesn't really make sense, and I've never really tried to be realistic before, so I think we just get rid of it. I think that's kind of what we do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my metro. I'm going to go to the lines. I'm going to get rid of this stop here. I'm also going to get rid of this stop right here. And so that blue line still comes into Vermont District. It just doesn't come out here. And then when it comes to that orange line, I mean, it still has a few places that it goes. So what we can do is get rid of this stop right about there. And then if we get rid of this stop right out here, the orange line still exists. The blue line still exists. They just don't come out to Willow Hills anymore. And so now I can just bulldoze this. I can bulldoze all of these sections of track. And that's pretty much a clean slate, except for the roads, which, let's be honest, I can get rid of those super quickly. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I'm going to move the disaster response units out to this space as well. Now, the disaster response unit, I'm pretty sure at one point I said I was going to try and build a dedicated facility or district or something for it. And then one day I just sort of slapped it down in here and totally forgot about it. So it might be something that we do want to look into doing something with, although I don't know if we're going to do that today. So when it comes to everything that's been left here, what I'd like to do is go ahead and bring this road right back to there. And I want to get rid of this avenue completely up to about there. I'm also going to get rid of this key, which surrounded the disaster response unit. And I might change up how this actually works, but I'm not too sure. We'll leave it there for now. We can go ahead and just clear up the terrain as well. And now we've got pretty much a good canvas to work with. I'm going to take out all of these roads as well. This one's going to stay because I do want a road that goes across the key that we have here. And actually, on that point, it might not be a bad idea to try and connect it around to here, which means that this small pedestrian area service point, which I think services the finance quarter, might need to be moved. And so, just like that, the pedestrian area service point has been moved and tucked in beside one of the financial towers that we have. I actually kind of like how this turned out. It's very, very simple. It was a very, very easy thing to move. It's out of the way. It's still in the district, and so it still works, which is perfect. What's also good is that I took this opportunity to extend that road around the promenade that I was talking about. So we do still have a road connection out to the solar updraft tower. People are already using it, which is great. So whatever we build out here is going to have a road connection right away. But obviously, I don't really want this to be our main road. At some point, we are going to have to connect back out to the highway, and I'm also going to want to connect to this avenue. So let's start to figure out what exactly we're going to be doing here, because I have a bit of a not a wild idea. It's not a crazy idea. It's not something that no one's ever done before, but I have an idea and I'm a little unsure about whether or not it's a good one. Now, first things first, I actually really want to see, is this at a 90-degree angle to this guy? It actually is. Now, that's good. That's actually very good news. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to bring this guy out another 20 units, and that's fine. We got a nice sort of slope down to that, which is what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to go into transport. I'm going to go to public transport hubs, and I want to use the train metro hub, and I want to put it right there. And so doing that gives us a metro station, but it also gives us a train station. And that's actually really important because I want to start connecting trains to Nerdholm. If we go all the way over here, we do have a train line that runs through our, I guess, tiles. So we can use this. But what I can also do is run a train line all the way into Willow Hills and then, you know, split it off so that it does have passengers, but we can also do cargo train stations. And that's what I really want to do here. So first things first, we do have 6 lanes going into 4 lanes. I want to change that up a little bit. So I think we can go into Network Multi-Tool and I can go to Unlock Segment. And then if I just click on all of this, it's now separated from the building and I can just go and essentially upgrade it, which I think I just locked it again, actually. So hold on a second. Unlock you, and then we'll go back in and I can upgrade it. There we go. Now, because this bit is a little bit more public facing, this is how people are going to get in here. I'm kind of thinking I might go for the grass or I might go for the trees. Although the trees are dead because this area is horribly polluted. So let's go for the grass right there. And we'll just go the entire way back to the roundabout right about there. And that's going to be a beautiful big road to get people into this space, which is what we're looking for. Now, what I'm also thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw a bit of a cut into this space. I just need a node to be right there. And the reason I'm doing that is because I can sort of use this to mask the zonable tiles, right? This isn't going to line up perfectly. If we do this, oh, it actually does line up perfectly. Never mind. It's, okay then. Wasn't expecting that, but all right. It does line up perfectly. That's actually pretty good. Let's bring this out to here. Let's bring this guy up to here. We'll just cap those over like that. And then what I want to do is bring this guy from right about there up to here. And then we'll drop down to, I guess, 4 lanes and we'll do this right here. And that's fine by me. I'm not going to completely recreate what this district looked like before. Don't worry. I know it's sort of going that way. I just want this sort of very basic infrastructure right here because the next thing that I'm about to do is going to be a little bit silly and a little bit wild and potentially is going to ruin this entire project. So I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I want to select all of this. I want to select all of these different nodes and I basically want to level them to that height right there. And that's fine. I want to go and do that again though, because I want them to be that height right there. So now we're starting to get into the what I really want to do, right? So what I really want to do is I want to build a cargo yard. So if I go into transport again and I go to trains, I can get the cargo train terminal. And what I'm thinking is that basically I'm going to run myself a little industrial road for now. It's going to come down to here and I'm going to build a cargo train terminal. Essentially, I guess it could go right about there. I might flip it around though and have the tracks be next to the train tracks because that would probably make more sense. But this is just something I want to do. Although if I had the tracks next to the train tracks, that might cause, this might cause some problems. It might cause some problems, but we're going to give it a shot. Let's bring this guy over and then it would go right about there. And honestly, I don't know if I hate it or if I love it. I really don't. I mean, people aren't going to be coming out that way, but we'll give it a shot. We will give it a shot. We'll see what happens. So we want to lower all of this down to that height. And yeah, that gives us a few train tracks next to each other, which is totally fine. I think, I don't know if I want to change it up though. If I do it this way, what's going to happen is we're going to have 2 cargo train stations facing each other on one road. And that's going to be a lot of traffic. If I do it the other way, we'll have two separate roads. The cargo train stations will be back to back, which I think might look better. So let's flip it around. I think it's going to be better if they're back to back. It might be better for traffic. So we'll bring a road down here. We'll have a cargo train station just like this. And then I just need to figure out the math so that I can get another cargo train station here facing back onto that one. So I think all I need to do is a road right here. Maybe this might be too small. It absolutely is too small. So I need to go, I think, oh, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons today. I need to go, I think, that distance and then do this. That's perfect. So it can go right about there. And that looks okay. I actually kind of like that. So grab all of the nodes, all of the buildings, just absolutely everything and lower it to that height right there. And that's going to give me some space for detailing as well, which I'm kind of excited about. So what I'm thinking for detailing is I can go in here to garbage and industry. I can go to warehouses, and we could use things like these guys. So we can use these small warehouses. We could probably also use the medium warehouses if I did a little bit of move it here and there. And I don't think we're going to be using the large warehouse, although it would look kind of interesting, to be fair. Maybe. I'll think about it. I'll definitely think about it. What I am going to do, though, is run some roads. So this road here is going to come down to, I'm going to say about there, and we'll connect it like this. And this road right here is going to go to there. I'm going to connect it over, and that's sort of going to outline my cargo yard. Now, obviously, this road is going to need to be elevated. So what I'm going to do right off the bat is sort of figure out where my train lines are going to go. So I think we're going to need some elevation here, and I think we're going to need some elevation here. And then what I can do is go in and grab those nodes. And I suppose I'm just going to move them up until I feel like they're high enough, which is, I'm going to say about there. It's probably a little much. It's probably a little steep, and I can fix that. But for now, that'll be high enough. We'll go ahead and just turn this into some kind of bridge. And then I need to flatten all the terrain, get some tracks in here, and start connecting it out to the region. And so this right here is what I'm thinking for our cargo yard. Now, I've used some growable buildings. They are level 1 at the moment, I think, and they will never upgrade. They are historical, to create what looks like an extended cargo yard space. And I think it turned out pretty good. I could have just gone to the workshop and got some props for this, got some parks and stuff like that, but I like that this is actually industrial zoning. If we go in and have a look, it is just industrial zoning. It's just a bunch of 4x4 growables. So that works out nicely. That'll actually take up a few jobs as well, which is fantastic. And then we have this space down here. And I'm not really too sure what to do with it. I'm kind of thinking that maybe just putting a parking lot in here would be the way to go. We could do something like this one. We could potentially do the chunker. Maybe not. Maybe not on that one. But we can do this one, which is honestly okay. I'm not really too worried about that. I mean, we're gonna need parking here anyway, right? People gotta work, so we could definitely get away with this, I think. So let's just see if I can use this space really nicely over here. So this one needs to be about there and about there. And then if I just grab this node and drag it right out, do I want it to go right up to the track? I feel like it could. And then I'm going to have to pave underneath the track. But honestly, I'm sort of okay with that. I don't mind paving directly underneath the track. I think this is good. I think it's a good use of the space, right? So we'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Let's just line this guy up right about there. We'll get a bunch more parking into this space. And then over here, we'll do exactly the same thing, line it up. And just, I totally forgot to do the other side of this, which is fine. Let me grab you, or you. That's the one we wanted. And then also a little bit more parking just about there. I think a bit of parking down at the end there is reasonable. I think there's enough space for it. So something just like that. And I like that. I do think that's a good use of the space. I wasn't really going to put anything else in there anyway, so we'll just get some parking. And yeah, I do like that. Let me just go ahead and grab all of the parts to this. Let me just level it to that height. And I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to paint over this, which is definitely going to be a bit weird, but that's all right. Unless I grab those tracks and raise them up a bit, I don't know how well that's necessarily going to work. Can I grab any more of the tracks here? No, I don't think I can. Okay. In that case, I wonder if I could just grab this this section of road then and lower it down by 1. There we go. Just to make sure the tracks don't look stupid. So if we look really closely, I'm pretty sure the parking spots will actually be floating a little bit, but that looks fine. I don't mind that at all. We can put some fences around it a little bit later on. This is just sort of the bones of the entire thing, so this is totally okay. We have everything connected down here as well. We've actually got the metro line up and running already, which is great news. It now just runs down here, goes underground, and does its thing. So really the next step is going to be taking this out towards the rest of the region. And I actually kind of want to connect it to the waste processing plant. I want to put a cargo train station in here. So here's my thinking on this. I'm going to try and do it really, really quickly. I'm going to take out all of these trees. So just all of those can go away. And then what we'll do is we'll go in, we'll grab only fences right here. This guy gets moved back, if it would let me grab it. There, no, just the fence. I don't want the building. Move the fence back to there. And then what we can do is use the same roads that we use throughout the entire waste management facility. Bring it out, bring it over like this, and bring it over like this. And we can put the train station back there. What we can also do is just shuffle this guy along by 1. We still have that divide in the middle. We still have this space filled, which is great. So now, if we just grab the road sections and the buildings and all that good stuff, we can go ahead and level it to that height so it's nice and flat. And then very, very simply, we just do something like that. And that's basically what I want to do out here. I want to surround it in fences, make it a part of the waste processing plant as well. But for now, what I really want to do is get it connected to the region so that it's actually functional. We also need some pipes here apparently. So very, very quickly, we'll just do this and then connect you to that corner. Cause I think that's most of our water supply. So we don't want that being cut off anytime soon. And there we go. So that'll be functional as soon as it's connected to the rest of the tracks. So let's prioritize this bit. And then I guess we just connect everything up. Now there is something very specific that I want to do here. I want to go in and grab some roads and I want to just do something like this. I want to do something like this. And I'm just going to swap these middle parts out to be bridges. So if I get the highway with sound barriers, 3 lanes, make it elevated, and we upgrade, it now goes over the track, but it looks a little bit boring. I'm also kind of wondering if I could use maybe some of these guys. I don't know if we necessarily need to, but the highway viaduct, what does that look like? I mean, it looks a bit weird for sure. It definitely looks a bit weird, but I don't hate it. I really don't. And then we'll just do that. So it kind of blends in a little bit. I don't hate that at all. Let me just grab those nodes very quickly, elevate them all to the same height, which they now are. And it is a little bit offset, so these guys here could actually probably be dragged down just a little bit like that. And something like that as well. It's not going to be perfect, but that was... I had it there. I had it. I should have just left it alone. Come on. There we go. That's about as good as it's going to be. That's okay. Not really super worried about it. Let me just grab the nodes again to make sure they're nice and level, which they are. And basically, under here, I want to go into landscaping and disasters, and I want to go to... Oh god, I don't remember where it is. I think it's in the walls and fences category. Yes! So we have these guys. We have these tunnels, which are really cool looking, and I've used them in a couple of places before. But what we can do is lay this out. I think they're considered... Yep, they're part of the other category. We'll go ahead and level them, and then just raise it up so I can see it. And we can use this to create an actual little tunnel underneath the highway, which I think will look awesome. We also have some choices of materials. So this one, I don't know what it's made of. It's stone. This one is brick. I don't know. Yeah, so that one's brick. That one's like darker stone. That one's even darker. And that one's very clean. I actually really like this one, especially since there's going to be a lot of trains, a lot of industrial trains coming through here. So we can maybe imagine that this is an old train line that was built a very long time ago. So a lot of A lot of filthy old trains came through here once upon a time. And then what we can do is hopefully just line this up and then sink it down to, let's say, just below the road. So just about there should be fine. And if I grab this guy and drag it out, I mean, it follows the track really nicely. And all I need to do now is level it to this height. And there you go. You've got a train tunnel. Obviously, it needs a bit of work. We've got some space in the sides here that kind of needs filled in, but I like that. I do. Now, what we can do is actually use the node controller. We can hopefully, if it's going to let me grab those, oh, please let me grab those. There we go. Grab you. And all I need to do is stretch this out to say 125%, so it actually fits. We can go to this side. We can grab, hopefully, this guy, if it's going to let me, which it is. Stretch it out to 125%. And that's good. I actually like that a lot. I think that looks great. I think now all I need to do is bring these walls in a little bit. And I think the way I can do that is just by sort of moving this along a little bit. Ooh, it's getting a bit weird, but that's okay. So if I do that, it just builds the cliff faces right up against it. And I think that looks really good. So right about there as well. Yes, it's getting a bit weird, but we can probably fix that. We can hopefully fix that, I guess is probably what I should say. So let's just see if I can bring you in a little bit. Oh, it's not liking this, but that's good. Then at this end of things, we want to go to about, we'll say there for now. We'll bring this one in as well. And if we can go a little bit further, if I can just get these to line up, that would be absolutely perfect. Little tiny bit further. That's not bad. That is not bad. This is now way too far in though. Oh, come on, cities, work with me here. Work with me here. That's probably as good as it's gonna get, actually. Let's just see if I can I stretch this out at all? Yeah. That's about as good as it's gonna be. Let's just level all of this to that height right there. So it's nice and flat. And I think that looks great. I think that's a really good looking train tunnel. It's really, really simple. It's really effective, and it just looks pretty cool. I probably didn't need to make it as, you know, difficult for myself as I did, but I like that. I do. I really, really like that. So that's good. I'm kind of not loving the fact that there's a weird gradient on the road here, but it doesn't matter. That's so good. All right. Let's very quickly connect it out to the waste processing plant and then out to here as well. And so now we actually have trains coming in here, and it looks really cool. I really like seeing them go through the tunnel and pulling up to the cargo yard. It's just really satisfying to look at all of this and just see it working. The one thing I've noticed though is that there seems to be a shortage of passenger trains. I've not seen a single passenger train actually show up to the train metro hub, so I'm wondering if there's maybe some weirdness going on there, or if maybe, I mean, it's possible that there's just not that much demand for passenger trains to and from Nerdholm. And of course, as I say that, we have commuter trains showing up, and actually quite a few of them as well. There's 3. That one's full. That's a little terrifying. Okay, hold on a minute. Is that one full? That is. Okay, is that one full? We have 3 full commuter trains about to arrive in Nerdholm. That's a lot. That is a lot of rail traffic going through there. Good Lord. Oh man. I'm actually kind of excited to see how this goes. Oh, we just had one pull in as well. Is there anyone on board leaving? There's like 53 people. Okay. Well, that's neat. That's a lot more than I was expecting. There's actually a few people waiting there for a commuter train already. There's, I would assume, a decent number going to be getting on the metro at some point. Although that's, oh man, that is a lot of full trains showing up. I actually don't know how to feel about this. I mean, so hold on, does everybody get off? So 400 on board, 11. Where do they all go? Because they're not coming out down here. Are they all, it's kind of hard to see with the depth of field, but oh yeah, no, they are all going to the metro. Every single one of them has just lined up on that metro platform. Oh my God. So the orange line is about to get considerably busier, which is good. And the blue line as well, I suppose. Both lines are about to get really busy. This is good though. That's what we were looking for. Maybe not this much. Oh my god, there's so many of them. Oh, I had to open my big mouth, didn't I? Really, I had to speak. I had to say something about how, you know, there's really not that many trains here. It's kind of weird. This was, oh, that's now it's blocking traffic. I might need to figure out a better way to do this. This road might need to be reevaluated, quite possibly, because this is going to be a traffic nightmare. But it's a lot of people, which is really cool. There's 2,000 passengers serviced last week. Oh boy. All right, we might want to swap out this line for something else. Is there any is there any better metro we could go for? A high capacity metro might be necessary there. We'll swap out for that one and see how that goes, I guess. Good lord. I wasn't expecting this. I was not expecting this. I also just want to double check. Hold on, line details, high capacity metro. So that now goes away. Is the high capacity metro actually going to load? Is my question? Oh, it is. Okay. So what's the capacity on you? 500. Yep. That's going to be necessary. That's actually going to be needed, and it's ridiculous that it's needed, but I'm very happy about it. All right. So we have this, right? This is good. This is a really good core for this this district, but I did mention that I wanted to do a little bit more down here. So let's just figure out how we're going to sort of establish this as its own thing. Now, first and foremost, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the roads in front of the cargo stations should have medians, because it's going to stop the traffic from crossing over. It's going to direct the flow of traffic a little bit better. And I think just the entire way down here, all these roads can have medians, including this one. Even though, oh wait, no, I just got rid of zoning. No, I need that back. Hold on. Force zoning on all of these roads, please, very, very quickly. And put all of that industrial zoning back in there. There we go. And give me the yards again as well. There we go. All right. So that's going to help the flow of traffic just a little bit. I think we also need to go in here and say that maybe traffic should be allowed to enter this intersection, because there's no reason it shouldn't. So you guys can enter that intersection and not worry about blocking the entrance to the parking lot. That'll help all of it get out of there, which is what we're looking for. And then when it comes to these guys, I mean, when it comes down to it, they're trying to get out of the district, right? And this is not doing them any favors. So we might need to just force this traffic sort of down this way, which honestly we could probably do. We can probably do something here. Maybe what we do is we change out this road for that. We go and grab a road that comes all the way down to, say, I don't know, right about there. We can elevate it across to, I don't know, right about there. And maybe we can connect it to the roundabout. This might be a terrible idea, but we could potentially connect it to the roundabout, and it would be an alternative way into and out of this district. It does sound like a terrible idea, though. I'm gonna be quite honest. This does not seem like a good idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because YOLO. It's 2022, and we're still only living once. All right. Let's get this all connected together and just see what happens, I guess. I don't have a good feeling about this. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little bit skeptical on whether or not this is actually a good idea, and I'm leaning towards it not being, but like I said, we'll figure it out as we go. So let's get these guys connected together like that, and yeah, that'll be another way into that district. So we'll go ahead and grab all of the nodes here, and we will turn that into some kind of slope. There we go. Also got some weird crossings there. I'm not really too worried about that. The only other thing I need to do is go into here and set up this roundabout properly with that new section there. Which, interestingly, it doesn't want traffic turning off of there. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to be honest. That doesn't seem right at all. So let's have you go left only, and then the rest of you can sort of do your thing. So I'm going to just let them, I guess, change lane as they cross over there, and we'll see what happens. But that is another way in there and out of there, so hopefully a lot of the traffic coming out of this particular cargo train terminal can go ahead and just go straight out there. And hopefully that's also going to help with traffic going this way, going in the avenue, and all of that stuff. It also gives us a space to build industry or offices. Honestly, this little triangle here should probably be offices, so that's likely what we'll do in there. And I suppose now we can just go ahead and detail the rest of this. So when it comes to some of it, what I'm thinking I'd like to do is bring a little road down here, and we'll just go right down to the edge of the track. And I want to see what I can put in there, because we have got all these different warehouses, but annoyingly they don't really fit. So I almost wonder if it would be an idea to put a little bit of a node right there, and then grab all of these and just shuffle them down by like 1. This would need to come back a bit. That's okay, because then I'm thinking that maybe it doesn't fit in there. Neither does that one. All right, well, that's slightly disappointing. Was really hoping I could get some warehouses in here. I could if I moved it down even further, like right up against the track, but I don't know that I want to do that. So I'll tell you what we'll do. I was talking about getting some regular zoning in here. Let's get some regular zoning just in here. So we'll have a little bit of something down there. We can go ahead and just say that, I guess, well, actually, you know what? Let's make sure the district is set to not new buildings historical. So all of these guys are historical. They will all stay. The rest of these can just be whatever they want to be. So all of that can be zoned. All of that can be zoned. This bit here, actually, you know what? This shouldn't be industrial. Ooh, that is a passenger. Well, I guess that has to be. This can be a bunch of offices. It might look interesting having some offices there. This can be offices as well. And I'm curious to see how that ends up looking with a bunch of very, very small offices just sort of lining this road. It might be weird, but I'm curious. I'm definitely curious. And I guess this will start to just, it's going to give more traffic. What? They aren't using this road. Oh, they're not doing what I hoped they would do. Oh, that's a pain. Okay. We might need a better solution for this then. Oh, they're going European. Hold on a second. Do I want these guys to be European? I mean, I guess they'll be wall to wall, right? So it might look kind of cool having the European buildings in here. I guess we'll give it a shot and see what it looks like. And if it ends up looking silly, we can change it out. We also have this space down here, which we could do something with, probably offices as well. So I think what we'll do, we could make this a pedestrian space. That might be weird or really cool looking. Let's give it a shot. We'll use cobblestone since I like to think of this space as being a little bit older. And I'm just going to do this sort of the entire way along this this promenade. All the way up to there. We can go all the way up to there and all the way up to about there. We can get a bunch of paths in there to connect it all together. And what we can also do is, I wonder if we should upgrade this road to have more lanes. I'm going to say no, simply because it's only 2 lanes coming down there anyway. So what we'll do is grab this guy, grab you, disable zoning, do this. That gives us a bunch of good zoning right there. And then it just has to be specified as a pedestrian space. We have to get a service point in there and all should be good. So let's just get this laid out. Let's go for right here for the service point. I think that looks pretty good. It's right next to the metro line, which is totally fine. And we'll just connect together all of these sections of road. Now, I don't necessarily know how I feel about having this right next to the metro line, but it's probably fine. I can put some trees in there. I can put some bushes and some hedges in there, and everything should be all right. So I think now that a bunch of our European offices are building, in fact, now that most of them are built, we can probably go ahead and turn our attention towards the side of this industrial district, the side of Willow Hills that faces the highway, because we still have no connection to the highway out here and we need to get one. So what I'm thinking first and foremost is we want to go in and smooth all of this terrain. Just every bit of it just needs to be nice and smooth. I'm not really too interested in, regular grades and whatnot. I just want it to be smooth because we're going to have a little bit of a climb up to the highway here. The other thing that I'm thinking of doing is using one-way roads. I'm very tempted to say is that we just have a one-way road that comes out, you know, however many units, 18, you know, 20, whatever it might be, that can connect to there, and then we have a one-way road comes over and connects to there, and that's how you get in and out of this space. It's not exactly elegant, I think it's safe to say, but it would work. It would be a way in and out of here, and it would work. That's about all I got. It would work. So, I mean, we'll give it a shot, I guess, is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and disable zoning for the time being, just so it's, I don't know, it's not got any weirdness going on. And I guess we'll just see what happens, is what we'll do. I'm not 100% convinced this is a good idea. Much like a lot of the things I've done today, I'm not convinced this is a good idea, but that's okay. I'm also thinking we'll stick with the 3 lanes. I accidentally upgraded to 4 right there. And I also just ever so slightly need to redo this guy. Oh, no. Oh, don't do that to me, cities. No, 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 no. We're not having this weird zoning going on. I'll have a gap in the middle there, but the rest of it, no. Definitely not. In fact, you know what? I think maybe 4 lanes would be the way to go. That'll probably give us multiple turning lanes, right? So we'll do 4 there, and we can do 3 on this side, and that'll be all right. So we'll go in, and we can adjust all of those. So this guy will control click. We get 2 turning lanes, 2 for going straight on. Right here, we get 1 turning lane and 2 for going straight on. So that works out really nicely. And hopefully, this entire thing will work out really nicely. Hopefully, it means that traffic can actually, I don't know, flow a little bit better. We could probably set up timed traffic lights here as well. And also this actually needs a little bit of lane management because I'm noticing some weirdness there with some of these arrows. So this goes to here and here. You go to right about there and there. And this guy is left turn only. There we go. So that's now set up properly. I think we could absolutely control click this to set up some timed traffic lights though, which it's not wanting to do, annoyingly. All right, well, that's fine. We'll set it up manually then. So what we want to do is add a step, change the mode, and this can go left at all times, basically. There's no point at which this can't go left. So step 1, we're going to say minimum time 5 seconds, maximum time 10 seconds. I'm really not too worried about it. Step 1 is left-hand turn at all times, and that's okay. So that is step 1. Step number 2 is pretty much the same thing, except these guys can go as well. Actually, no, thinking about it. Hold on. No. Cancel that. Edit step 1. If you're going left, you can go as well. So that's fine. These guys can come out. These guys can go left. That's fine. And then this next step is you don't go anywhere, but you do. So that's fine. And then we'll add a step where no one goes anywhere and pedestrians can kind of move around, but that's going to be minimum like 2 seconds, maximum 5 seconds. So we'll add that, we'll start it. And so now we have left-hand drive traffic. We have these guys able to go as well. So you should come straight down there and do your thing. And now traffic can go straight on if it wants to. These guys will back up. Obviously, it's not too big a deal right now because, you know, there's not that much traffic wanting to go straight on, but eventually I would imagine there will be. So we'll see how this goes. This is most likely a terrible setup for traffic. I mean, I say most likely, I can almost guarantee it's a terrible, terrible setup for traffic, but it'll do for now. I'm not super worried about it. Although I will say, I kind of want to just repaint a lot of this district. So just take out all that part and let's go in here with a slightly smaller district brush. We'll go up to about there. We'll go straight over. We'll paint in this part. We can paint in all of this part up to about there as well. And then all of this guy back here, we can paint that in as well. And that looks pretty good, actually. I mean, the district should probably go up to about there, just because that kind of makes sense. And then we can go at a bit of a diagonal over to the avenue there. But that looks all right. That's Willow Hills, which is actually one of the larger districts that we have now. So when it comes to the rest of this space, I'm just going to keep it relatively simple, I think. And I'm going to say that the rest of this, at the very least, all of this part is going to be industrial, because we are still going to need industrial zoning. We can't swap out all of this for offices. I just want it to be offices down by the water. So that's going to be a bunch of industry. That is likely going to generate a bunch of traffic, and we'll see what happens there. We do have some roads that now cut through that space, so it might be kind of interesting. It might not be. We'll just sort of keep an eye on it is what we'll do. And honestly, I don't think I want to go too much further with the size of Willow Hills. I think what I will do is I'm going to bring a road down here, and I'm going to go up to about there. And I'm going to cut across roughly maybe here so that I can get some zoning in that space. I'm also going to put a road right here. I'm going to disable zoning on this one though, because I just want to push that bridge back. So that's fine. That's totally okay. But this is actually, I think, roughly where all of the zoning is going to be. I think that right there is Willow Hills. This space over here is going to be a different district. This up here could be a separate district as well. This is a separate district, or it's all part of one district. Willow Hills doesn't need to be really all that much bigger. So what I'm going to do is throw more industry in here. I'm going to throw more industry into this space as well, but I want to do it in such a way that maybe something like that, so it's not right up against the tracks. In fact, we'll do this right here, so that's not right up against it either. I want to do industry here as well, but what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and get myself a key to go across here, because I think that'll look really good. And I think the simple C wall is probably the best one to go for. So we'll do this. That looks solid. That actually worked amazingly. That worked perfectly first try. That's never happened before. Good Lord. That's a Christmas miracle. it's a Christmas miracle is what it is. We'll lower this guy down so it's under the road there. And I just want to bring it back ever so slightly to about there. And that looks solid to me. That looks really good. I'm really pleased with that. I think that's great. We could probably actually bring that key around the entire space. And I feel like we should. I actually feel like we should. So let's go up to, it is going to be weird because we have got that, there is that like fence thing on the key, but we'll figure that out. It's not the end of the world. We'll go for here as well. Maybe just back a little bit. I don't know. We'll do here for now. Something like that. And I just need to connect this all together. So that's fine. That's totally fixable. It's far from perfect, but it will be. So we just want to move you over to about there. I just want to grab this guy and move it up to about there. Now I am losing some detail from the front of the tunnel, and I don't know that I actually love that. So what I might do is be a little bit cheeky and line it up from this point, although that might be a really bad idea. Let's line it up from here. Yeah, that'll be perfect, because what that'll do is it will, well, can I line it up with the tracks? I totally can. That will still give us a bunch of the front of the tunnel visible. So there. Oh, that looks good. I don't like the rocks in the corner, but I can live with it. And I think all I need to do now is this, and then curve that around, and I think this is going to look great. So, little weird. Definitely a little weird. You know, the grass being visible and whatnot, but I can live with that. What I can't live with is the fact that this railing is visible through the road, so we do need to raise that up a little bit, but there we go. That looks kind of great. That actually looks kind of great. I'm really quite pleased with that. Okay, so the keys are in here. I think this looks really, really cool. I like having this channel through here. I've also changed the key on this side to be a little bit fancier than the one that we had before. And now what I want to do is start moving some of these guys back into the industrial space. Now, admittedly, I could probably look into getting ourselves a dedicated power station generation district at some point. And I would like to do that. Same with water treatment. I think getting an actual water treatment plant would be a pretty good idea. I think it would definitely make sense. I'm just not going to do that yet. We'll definitely do it eventually. We're just not going to do it yet because this district still has a fair bit of work to be done, and I do want to get that done. So we'll go ahead and move the bus depot back in here as well. I'm not 100% sure where it could go. It could go there. It could also go in this corner, which might make a bit of sense. It would have been nice if it fit in there, which, you know what? I feel like it probably could. If I just shuffle it down by 1, that's not bad. It's very, very close to the curb, those parking spots, but it fills that space. It's a public transport thing. I like it there. I do. I think the bus depot being there is pretty good. What else have we got to play with? We've got the disaster response unit, which it might stay out here until I find somewhere for it. The fire helicopter depot. I mean, it was just a necessity, wasn't it? We didn't build this out here because we thought it looked good, and it's still kind of a necessity, so... Well, maybe it should stay out there as well until we get an actual airport where things like that can go. So I think that's what we'll do. And then when it comes to water treatment, I mean, I don't... yeah, I think we're going to have to just move it in here as well. And we're going to have to get ourselves an actual water treatment plant at some point. So for the time being, I guess what we'll do is water treatment can go there for 1. I'm actually going to move the oil power plant, or oil power plants, to be, I want to say there for 1, and I'm going to say there for 2. Yeah, there's some buildings in there, but those will get removed. There we go. They're slowly being removed, which is fine. I can probably help that a little bit just by going through here and doing that. So there we go. We'll also remove these guys. So that'll be the 2 power plants. We can grab this guy and move it to right about there. I'm also putting them in these spots very deliberately because I can probably hide them a little bit with some buildings around there. So that'll be good. And then these smaller ones. Do we need these smaller ones? I think we do. Yeah, we're going to need the smaller ones. Okay. I don't know where to put these. I guess here. I guess right about there is probably a decent little spot for them. Ever so slightly out of the way, right by the water, which I don't know if I love, but yeah, that'll be just fine for now. We'll get these connected. We can get some zoning around these as well. So we'll do some offices there. We can actually do more offices here, which is pretty good. And I guess we'll just do some offices down the sides of these as well. I wouldn't want to work in these offices personally, but yeah, I'm sure that'll be fine. Okay, so that gives us a lot of the buildings that we needed back into this space. We've got a lot of abandoned buildings still. That's going to be an ongoing thing for a little while, I think. But that's okay. I will say, I do like some of these smokestacks. I'm going to have to go through and make a few more of these buildings historic at some point. I've already done that with this guy, because of course I did. Of course this building is an historical one. But really the only way to deal with all of these problems is to get more people in here. So very quickly, I'm going to try and turn this space in, well, maybe just this little part, into a residential space. It's not going to be great, is the problem. It's going to be kind of, I don't know, it's going to be a bit weird looking, I think, but I also think it's kind of needed. Can I line these guys up? Ooh, that was a mistake. Let's not do that. Let's just slope that. There we go. And that'll be okay. Just a little bit of a gradual slope up to that. But yeah, I think just some kind of residential space in here would be good. So what we'll do is go and disable zoning the entire way along this road. And we'll disable it on that little bit as well. I'm thinking I'm going to disable zoning on this avenue as well. So this entire thing is not going to have zoning. And then we'll just build something kind of cool in here. It'll be really simple. This is not going to be detailed at all. But what I will do is use these roads with grass. Because what we can do is try and use that to offset the fact that they're next to an industrial zone. They're not going to be thrilled about that. But they'll be fine. They'll manage, I'm sure. So we'll do this. It is just going to be a grid as well. I should probably mention that. This is really not going to be a super detailed space at all. I just need people. That's kind of where we're at. We just need people. So we'll do that, and we'll take these roads out. We'll keep those guys like that. And that's probably fine. To be completely honest, that is probably fine. What I would like to do is get some cobblestone pedestrian streets without zoning. And I'm going to use that to sort of connect these guys out to this avenue. This might be a terrible idea. It's unnecessary, and it's going to create a lot of traffic lights, but it also gives them a way to, I don't know, get through here, which I guess they would probably appreciate. And I'm also kind of thinking that I could be a little bit cheeky here and actually turn zoning back on. And then I can use this for commercial zoning because we have three tiles deep here that's going to be just on that avenue. And that'll give us some commercial zoning. And then if I go up here and disable the zoning on this road again, that'll give me plenty of space within all of this to get a bunch of residential zoning, which I think will be great. In fact, let's just go ahead and force zoning here again. And we'll do this as well. And I do think that'll be fine. So let's turn this into a district very quickly. I don't know what it's going to be called. Name suggestions in the comments, please, as per usual. And we will have people living here. And hopefully these people can go work in the industry. And hopefully the industry can stop complaining about not having enough workers. All right, so I might have gotten slightly carried away with building a new residential space, and I might have built something that is twice the size of what I was originally planning on putting together, but this is actually good because this new space, Amity Park, has a population of about 1,500 Sims, and it also seems like we have way fewer industrial buildings complaining about a lack of workers. So all in all, I think this change to Willow Hills and Amity Park next to it has actually been a really good one, and I really like how this sort of ties everything together now, because what we've got here is the obvious old town with Dale Hills and Nerdminster, but then we have these little pockets now with Smith Square being this pocket of modern development, and then obviously, you know, the finance quarter and all that, but you also, of course, have my favorite thing right here. You've got old on the left, new on the right. You've got old on the left, new all the way down here. You go down further, you've got old on the right, new on the left. It's just, I love it. I really do. I'm really, really pleased with how this turned out. And it was such a simple place to put together, and the detailing was 5 minutes of work. It's really, I love just how nice you can make a space look with a good, neat line of trees. And that's basically what I've used here to make this place look a little bit neater and a little bit more, I don't know, spaced out with some green areas, because there's nothing else in there. There is a service point, by the way, because some of the buildings were complaining about the pedestrian streets, but this is mostly residential with a tiny little hint of commercial in there. There's a teeny tiny little bit of commercial there, which is fine. That's good. It's going to give them somewhere to shop. We do have a police station down here as well, which honestly, I'm going to give it the police supercar because I think that's funny. And there is still a lot of space down here that needs detailed. We have a lot of space in between these tracks that could be detailed. We have this bit here that needs to build. There is a lot still to do with Willow Hills and obviously this space as well. But I love how this is looking. I'm so pleased with it. So I think very quickly, let's come in here and let's figure out what this is going to be. Now I could zone this, and it's very tempting to just do that, because what we'll get is a bunch of teeny tiny little buildings like this. And this is kind of cool. I don't totally hate this just being a bunch of like transformers and silos and things like that, and it might look cool at the end of the train tracks. So I think we'll just do that. I think just to get more zoning in here, we'll do that. But what we can also do is put some fences in here. So we'll get the ore industry fence, since it's a very good one for industrial yards, and we'll just go across something a bit like that. We'll come down, let me get my angles snapping back going, so I think that's what I'm looking for right there. We can come over to here, we can go down, and we can go across. And that's just fine. That nicely sort of, you know, sections off the tracks, which is what we're looking to do. And we can do pretty much the same thing in here, actually. In fact, what I'm thinking we could maybe do is shuffle this over to about there, maybe a little tiny bit further. We'll do the same thing here as well, shuffle it over to about there. And in theory, and I absolutely can, I can just run a fence down there. I can run a fence just down to meet that one as well, so they're nicely in line. And then what I can do is bring it down to the road here, and we can bring it down to the road right about there. And so the parking lots are surrounded by fences, the tracks are surrounded by fences, and obviously, you know, we have these containers and things to surround the tracks. I just really like how this has turned out. I'm so pleased with it. I really am. Although what I would like to do is just get a couple of bushes in there just to be on this grass. I don't know how good they're going to look, given that there's probably a lot of pollution around here, but I just like it. I like the detail. I like the shapes. I like the colors and all that good stuff. I do also... Wait, no, that's one building that has a tree on it. Interesting. Okay, well, fair enough. I was wondering why we had a tree there, but all right. We'll do this as well. And I think we'll do the same thing on this side as well. Just to make the parking lots, I don't know. I'm not going to say pleasant because it's a parking lot, but it fills in the space. It makes it look a little bit more deliberately designed. And then we have these spaces here where I think I could probably just get away with a few trees. I'm not going to go super crazy bordering this with concrete networks and things like that. I'm just going to throw some trees in because, to be honest, this is one of those spaces that we're not likely to look at up close all that much. So a couple of trees right there, maybe some bushes across the front as well, just so we do have something separating the path from the grass. But there we go. I think that looks fine, honestly. I think that looks pretty solid. And we have a little bit of green here as well. We could probably do the same thing using the young linden trees. So we'll do just a little line of them, space them out a little bit. We'll go for, I think 3 of them is pretty good. And I like that. I do. I like that a lot. We have some trees in here to hide that sort of empty space. And we've got a bunch of offices around the water treatment plants, which is amazing. So that's good. That is what we're looking for. That's pretty much filled up a whole bunch of that space. Now we just need to figure out what to do with down here. And on one hand, I'm very tempted to say that we don't do it in today's episode because we've done a lot already. But on the other hand, we still have residential demand. We still have commercial demand. And I did say I wanted to bring the population up a little bit. So let's very quickly throw a district together down here. And I think it is... Oh, do I want it to be modern? I think it needs to have that old town vibe. I like to think that, you know, obviously we've just built this. Here's the way I want you to think of Nerdholm, okay? I want you to think of it as we didn't just build this industrial yard. I know that sounds really weird, but I like to think this has been here for a while, which is why I've gone for the European style buildings, because this might have been an old industrial district. So you have all these old factories that have been here for 50 and 60 and 70 years. You have all these old houses that were originally built to house the workers. So I know it's not historically accurate, and I know it's silly, and it's very, very basic lore, but that's how I'm looking at this. So the way I'm also choosing to look at it is that this would probably also be a little extension of that idea of, hey, we need space for the workers to live. So this would all be old town style buildings, European style buildings in the shadow of the financial district. So yeah, I think very quickly we can put something together here. And so just like that, this new district is done. And this might be some of the largest expansion that we've done to Nerdholm in a really long time. It's definitely one of the biggest changes that we've made to this end of the city in a really long time, and I absolutely adore how it's turned out. Now, unfortunately, we're not really reaping the benefits of some new residential spaces right now because we're having a death wave, which seems to be spurred on by the fact that we might be having some sewage problems, which I wasn't aware of, to be quite honest. I'm also not sure why this is a problem. I wasn't aware of these sewage problems, though, because I didn't look over here at all. This entire district has been mostly abandoned as well. That sucks. Oh, man. That's a bit rough, is what that is. That's definitely a bit rough. So is this just not working because it's got no sewage now? That's weird. Can I give a bit more money to my water budget? So if I do that and just max it out, does that solve the sewage problems? Not really. We are still having sewage problems, which I guess makes sense given just how much we've expanded here. So I suppose what we'll do is we'll come over here, we'll get the Eco Advanced Inland Water Treatment Plant, and we'll just put another one there. And that will hopefully deal with our sewage problems once it gets to be working, which, there we go. So sewage should no longer be a problem. A lot of these guys are complaining though, low land value. That'll be because I would imagine some buildings might have had some trouble there. I'm not, ooh. Why do you have so many trees? I think they're a part of the building. I'm pretty sure they're a part of the building, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those complaints will go away. This space will rebuild, and that'll be fine. This guy not functioning though. I don't entirely understand why this is giving us some issues here. So, issues there. It can't go... It basically can't go back, is what I'm gathering here. It can't get to here for some reason. Which is really... That's kind of odd. That it can't get to there, and then suddenly it can't go the other way either? Oh, I'm very confused about this. That is really, really strange that it can't seem to get back there. Weird. That is actually really weird that it's disconnected like that. I'm not 100% sure why it's done that, because there's nothing stopping it from getting around from what I can tell. It's not like anything's burnt down from what I can see. So yeah, that's definitely a weird one. Yeah, no, I've got no idea. I've got no idea what would be stopping this from doing its thing. Can I just make a new line that, yeah, I can make a new line that does that. I guess given it a bit of time, it might sort itself out. I know sometimes the game can get weird, so I guess we'll see what can happen there. I will say though, speaking of public transport, have I always had that building in there? Have I always had this here, this high capacity high school? I don't know why it just stuck out to me like that, but it absolutely did. Anyway, what I want to do in terms of public transport is I want to get some more bus lines, because we need a bus line that comes out here, but we also need a bus line that will go around here as well. So what we'll do is, and I've tried to space these stops out, so we'll start up here, and we'll just have a bus that goes, I want to say maybe goes that way. It doesn't, well, it could actually go this way. I'm thinking about it, because if it went this way, that can then come around and stop in front of Barlow Square, which might not be the worst thing in the world. And then it can stop sort of down here. And something I did with my new bus lines was I made a point of having the stops be pretty close together, because I find that that helps us a little bit. And then what we could do, I guess the thing is, this is the line that goes to this district and then back, right? So maybe this one shouldn't go out that way. Maybe this one should just go down that main avenue and back. Although that also seems kind of silly. Oh, I don't know now. I'm kind of doubting my I'm doubting my layout here. What I'm also thinking is it could go down there and around, so it still kind of does what I want it to do, right? So let's bring it out here. We'll have it stop. Actually, we'll have it skip that stop. That'll be fine. Have it stop here, and have it stop, I guess, there. And we'll have it stop, say, here, and towards the end of this road as well. We'll have it stop there. So that's a bunch of stops. And that's the wrong road that I just took. That's the wrong road. I meant to go out this way, is what I meant to do. So we'll have a stop here. We'll have a stop there. And we'll have a bunch of stops that just sort of go down this road. And that'll make people relatively happy. We can have one that comes around this corner, and then we come down here with a whole bunch of stops along this avenue. And that's still going to service a lot of these guys, so it's still fine. And then it just goes back, right? So that's a new line. That's a new 100 line. And that is going to be, let's see here. If we sort by names, it is it's going to be 106. So bus line 106, and that is Willow Hills, I think it is. We'll probably rename that, but that's fine for now. And the bus that we'll use for this, I think, can probably go ahead and be, let's go for the Lion City 12 for now. And we'll make it the same red that everyone else has, and that'll be just fine. So that'll be a bus that gets you out to the industrial space. But what about getting around the industrial space? That's kind of the next step. So let's have a bus line that starts down here. So right about there, we'll go right to about there. We'll go to here, oh, not there, right about there, and we'll have it come around the corner. So I guess we're not necessarily going to have these guys overlap. And honestly, I'm okay with that. You can get off the bus here, walk around the corner, not a big deal. We'll go up to here as well. And do I want to go through this space? I guess I could. I guess it wouldn't necessarily hurt to go through. Ooh, no, the bus lines are being a bit weird. Never mind. We'll just go across here and everything will be all right. So we'll have it come along. We'll have it go to here. Pretty much all the same spaces that it was already going to. The only issue is getting down there because it looks like it wants to go around the financial district, which honestly, I'm not entirely against doing. I've got to be honest. I don't hate the idea of doing that. We can put a stop in front of the financial district, in front of the stock exchange, and that's fine. It can share a stop right there as well, and then do this. Yeah, I'm actually quite okay with that. And then we'll just go in the opposite direction, which is going to be slightly tricky because this is a one-way road. So it can stop there, it can stop there, and then I just need to go this way with it. And I think, I'm pretty sure at least, I can get this to just go the exact same path that we took to get here. So stopping there, stopping down here, stopping down here, stopping right about there, and connecting there. And yeah, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. So we'll go in, and this is going to be the 205. So we'll go 205A. We'll just do Willow Hills for this one. We'll copy it, and then we'll paste 205A, changing it to 205B. We'll change the buses out for red buses, and we'll change the models out for... You know what? For now, let's go with the Lion City 10. It's the smallest bus that we have out of the Lion City fleet. But if we need to upgrade it, we totally can. So that seems pretty good, to be honest. That'll get people around Willow Hills. It'll get people out to Willow Hills and from it as well. It'll connect up the new residential spaces. And honestly, I'm really pleased with this entire thing. We are having garbage problems. We do have a death wave, but I'm really pleased with this look. It looks so much better than it did before. And so as the population starts to climb again after another death wave, I think it's safe to say that we can leave it there for today. I'm not gonna lie, this was another one of those projects where I was a little bit nervous about an hour into it. The entire build here honestly took about 3.5 hours. That's roughly how long this took. Although I did sort of concept it a couple of times, so, you know, hour or two spent concepting just to make sure it would work, and then 3.5 hours to build it. About an hour into that, as we were demolishing everything and putting the first train stations in here, I was really doubting that this was going to turn out anything like what I wanted it to. I was doubting it was going to look decent at all, but I am really, really pleased with how this has turned out. It's obviously not the most detailed thing that anyone's ever built in City Skylines, and it is just an industrial district with some housing and some offices, but I think it's a really, really nice upgrade from what we had before. I think it's, you know, it's just a bunch of zoning, but it's been detailed kind of similar to what we did in Dale Hills and Vermont District. So this was a really nice, you know, journey back to what we'd been doing before we went down to the south end of the city to build all of those suburbs with the individually placed buildings and all that good stuff. So this was a total treat. It really, really was. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you like how it's turned out. I think it turned out really nicely. Got a lot of trains coming through here, which is great to see. That's something we didn't have before. So very, very exciting having all these trains here. Absolutely thrilled having all these trains here. And so I think, like I said, we can go ahead and leave it there for today. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.